welcome to Bert MMA. Today, we're going to do a full card prediction on every single fight for Bellator 266, Davis versus Romero, the main event, an absolute banger, at least I hope, because we did see the last fight with Israel Adesanya and Yoel Romero, and it was not a banger whatsoever, so I'm hoping the old Yoel Romero coming forward, throwing flying knees, throwing big shots. I hope we see that Yoel Romero against Phil Davis, because it's going to be a really close fight. Phil Davis wants to keep range, kickbox with Yoel Romero for the decision win most likely, and Yoel Romero wants to go out there, put on the pressure, and look for the knockout as Phil Davis's back is to the cage. But that main event is going to be an absolute banger, in my opinion. I don't know, but it's a very 50-50 one. The betting odds right now, they're actually pretty close. And Phil Davis, wow, Phil Davis is the favorite. He was at plus 135 just a day ago, and now is at minus 117. That is very crazy. I mean, Phil Davis is the favorite on Yoel Romero. Now, granted, it is 20 pounds above Yoel Romero's natural weight class. Yoel Romero is 44 years old, but Yoel Romero is an absolute beast, so I cannot wait for that main event. The co-main event as well, Gracie and Mark Leminger in the welterweight division, Alejandra, Lara, and Diona Bennett in the women's flyweight division, Ben Padish and Christian Edwards in the light heavyweight division. We got George Garakanian and Saul Rogers in the lightweight division. Neal and Alex Belezi in the light heavyweight division. Abraham Vasiu and Albert Gonzalez in the 175-pound division. So sort of mixed in there between the middleweight division and the welterweight division. So Kratis Hernandez and Pedro Juarez in the featherweight division. Bobby Cerronio III and Aaron Hunter in the bantamweight division. There's a lot of fights right here. Khalid Murtala and Anthony Adams in the middleweight division, Holland, Gracie, and Shane Keefe in the welterweight division. I can keep on going. Eddie Abasolo and Art Hernandez in the 160-pound catchweight division between lightweight and featherweight. Edwin de los Santos and John Adams in the flyweight division. And last but not least, Jesse Delgado and Joshua Dillon. Oh my god, that is a lot of fights right there. I mean, 14 fights for a Bellator card. Usually, I believe the last card we had for Bellator, if we go back to it, Bellator 264, Mousasi versus Salter, only had 8 fights in the fight card. So this is a lot more fights than usual for this Davis versus Romero fight card right here. But either way, we're going to see some really good fights right here. But if you still made it to this part of the video and did not skip ahead to see my actual predictions for all of these fights right here, which I'm about to get into, if you're still here right now, make sure you guys like the video. We're trying to get this video right here to 100 likes. That would be absolutely insane. If we can get the video to 100 likes, it would be absolutely insane. And I will chug a gallon of milk on stream. If we can do it, I don't know if we can, but if we can, I will chug a gallon of milk on stream. So 100 likes on this video, and subscribe to the channel. Why wouldn't you subscribe to this channel? We have Bellator predictions, PFL predictions, oh my god, LFA predictions, UFC predictions, Dana White's Contender Series predictions, so many predictions on every single different organization. So subscribe, like this video, let's get this video to 100 likes, and turn on those post notifications so you guys do get notified for when I post a new video. That would be absolutely insane. But with all of that being said, let's get into our predictions and go on to the first fight. Right here in the 130-pound catchweight division, Jesse Delgado and Joshua Dillon in the catchweight division of 130 pounds. Now, as you can see right here, Jesse Delgado does not have any MMA fights or amateur MMA fights for that. He is 0-0 as a pro and 0-0 as an amateur. But if you look right here, the man was an absolute beast in college, becoming an NCAA Division 1, not Division 2, not Division 3, Division 1 wrestling champion that competed for the University of Illinois right there. Let's see if I can find it. I believe he had two college championships or something like that. 2014 NCAA Division 1 National Champ. 2013 NCAA Division 1 National Champ. 2014 Big Ten Champion. 2013 Big Ten. I can go on and on all of these accomplishments and achievements from Jesse Delgado. But all you need to know, the man's got really good wrestling. The man has really good grappling. And I'm assuming he's going to have some solid ground and pound as well. Joshua Dillon, 1 win and 1 loss. Decently tall for the division. has one submission win, which is very interesting, and he did get knocked out in this last fight, I believe from a right hand counter on Jamar Whitehead. I'll have to rewatch that tape on that one, but he hasn't really shown too much of a weakness in the wrestling or grappling game. Most of his fights do stay on the feet in the striking, where he wants his fight to be against Jesse Delgado, of course. So the main way I see Joshua Dillon winning would be on the feet, probably by knockout in the first or second round, or Jesse Delgado taking him down over and over and over again. Of course, getting a submission or a ground up on TKO. Those are the two things I see happening right there, but you know I gotta go for the up-and-coming wrestler in Jesse Delgado. We know when you transfer wrestling from the college levels, a two-time Division I wrestling champion, a national champion, that tends to translate very, very well to MMA, and he's going to win the fight. We already know the Bellator just wants him to win the fight. They're pushing him against a guy coming off a loss. I mean, they usually do that a lot. They get guys coming off a losses outside of Bellator and just feed him to an up-and-coming guy. That's exactly what's happening here. Bellator is feeding Joshua Dillon to Jesse Delgado. Jesse is going to get the takedown, a ground up on TKO him, or submit him in the first or second round. That is my prediction for this catchweight fight of 130 pounds, but a really good fight right there for Jesse Delgado and Joshua Dillon, Edwin de los Santos, and John Adams in the flyweight division. Yeah, John Adams does not really have the best record right there. 0 wins, 1 loss, and 1 draw. And his last fight was 2 years ago. Before that, 2.5 years ago. So, yeah, he's going to be a little bit taller. I don't know if he's going to have the reach advantage because it doesn't show the reach for Edwin de los Santos. But John Adams, I don't know how he's still inside of Bellator after being 0-1-1. But nonetheless, he's still in Bellator somehow. He's decent at range, decent kicking game at range. Jab, 1-2, just staying on the outside, using the height and using that reach. Probably wants to mix in a little bit of wrestling and grappling here because Edwin de los Santos, in my opinion, is going to have a significant advantage on the feet. He's much faster in the striking. He hits a lot harder than John Adams in the striking, and he's a nasty overhand left and left hook when your back is in the cage. So I do think it's 50-50 on whether I see Edwin de los Santos going out there, getting John Adams back to the cage, and getting a knockout in the first or second round, or just dominating the fight in the striking game and winning the fight by a decision. But either way, I am going to go Edwin de los Santos. I think he goes out there, puts on the pressure, gets his back to the cage many times in the fight, and keeps on landing that overhand left hook, and just pressure, and volume. My prediction right here is going to be Edwin de los Santos winning the fight, probably by a decision. I'm going to go with 30-27. I don't really see how John Adams is going to win one of these rounds, but from the film I did see of him from 2 years ago, it does not look like he's going to win the fight. But again, that was 2 years ago, so I don't know what he's been doing for the past 2 years. He could have become like a really good fighter in the last 2 years. I have no idea. I'm watching sheerly, or I'm making my prediction sheerly on the fact that he lost his last fight and he got a draw before that, and the film that I saw in those 2 fights. I have no idea what he's been doing in the past 2 years, so based on those other 2 fights, I do think Edwin de los Santos is going to go out there, keep the fight on the feet, put the pressure on, land more powerful shots, land faster strikes, land more strikes, and more volume, more power, more speed. Pretty much every advantage in the striking goes Edwin de los Santos. So my prediction right there in the flyweight division is going to be Edwin de los Santos winning the fight by a 30-27 unanimous decision. A really good fight in the flyweight division. Eddie Abasolo and Art Hernandez in the catchweight division of 160 pounds. Now, as you see right here, yet again, we have another guy on Bellator with a 0-0-0 professional MMA record. Now, he's fighting a guy not with the best record right there. He's 36, almost 37 years old, and has a record of 4 wins and 5 losses, getting knocked out in quite a lot of them. You look right here, Luis Cosi knocked out in the first round, Melsik Bhattacharya knocked out in the first round, and then he got submitted, the unanimous decision. Now, these are very solid fighters in Melsik Bhattacharya and Luis Cosi, who are both UFC level fighters. But still, he got knocked out twice in a row in literally 7 seconds and 18 seconds. That's a little iffy right there. And the fact that Eddie Abasolo has very, very good Muay Thai skills, amazing body case, leg case, front case of the body, really good shots right down the pipe. His striking is absolutely amazing. I encourage all of you out there that are wondering who's gonna win this fight. I mean, it's pretty obvious, but if you're wondering if you want to see a little bit more film on Eddie Abasolo, you gotta look up some of his Muay Thai fights. He looks absolutely amazing, really powerful, really fast. He's just gonna have so much advantage on the feet against R. Hernandez, who just does not have the best chin, being knocked out 2 other times in a row. So it's a very easy prediction, in my opinion, that Eddie Abasolo is going to go out there, keep the fight on the feet, and either land a head kick KO, a body kick KO, or a big right hand in the first or second round. But either way, probably the easiest prediction on the fight card. My prediction, Eddie Abasolo by knockout in the first or second round. A really good fight in the catchweight division of 160 pounds. Holland Gracie and Shane Keefe in the welterweight division. Now, again, we have another guy not necessarily with the best record of 0 wins and 2 losses. Now, granted, those 2 losses, they were back in 2006, man. That was a long time ago. I don't know if he lost the fight by knockout, by submission, by decision. I really have no idea. But he is a Gracie. I mean, it says right there, Holland Gracie. You see the picture. He's a very, very solid grappler. And he's probably going to be looking to go out there, get the fight down, and get the submission. Rear naked, triangle, guillotine. I really have no idea what submission he's going to go for, because all I've seen are clips of him in his grappling competitions. That's about it. And the fact that he is a Gracie, I mean, we know he wants the fight to hit the mat, but Shane Keefe is a very, very solid wrestler, amazing takedown defense, and I think he's going to be able to defend the takedowns on Holland Gracie. He has way better striking than Holland Gracie as well, coming off a head kick knockout win in the very first round. I mean, it was absolutely amazing. Before that head kick, he landed a lot of really good shots. Sorry about that, I had a burp. I have another burp. But he landed a lot of really good shots down the pipe on Mario Souza, and then he landed that head kick knockout. But if in this fight with Holland Gracie, he's going to need to stay ranged, jab, maybe a left hook straight right, and then look for the body case and leg case, maybe a high kick as Holland Gracie comes in. But either way, the only way Holland Gracie is going to win is if he comes in and looks for the takedown. If he does that and he comes in and looks for the takedown, the man is probably going to walk right into a head kick just like last time against Mario Souza, or he's going to walk into a left hook and a straight right down the pipe. Either way, I think he's going to catch him with something as he's going in for the takedown. He has a good front kick, pretty good knees in the clinch, so maybe he pops up one of those knees and knocks out Holland Gracie. There's so many things for Shane Keefe to do right here in the welterweight division. But personally, I think he's going to land a right. I'm going to go straight right down the middle as Holland Gracie is coming in. But I can definitely see a knee, I can definitely see a head kick, I can definitely see a left hook. There's many things, but the thing you gotta know is Shane Keefe has really good takedown defense. Holland Gracie doesn't have the best striking, and Shane Keefe is way better at striking, has really good power in his hands, and of course the feet. So my prediction right there in the welterweight division is going to be Shane Keefe by knockout in the first or second round. A really good fight in the welterweight division. Khalid Murtala and Anthony Adams in the middleweight division. The striking is going to be very even, in my opinion. Anthony Adams and Khalid Murtala both have a really good body case, leg case, really good jabs, 1-2s. The only thing I give an advantage to in the striking game would probably be the power of Khalid Murtala. They both land in similar volume, similar technique, but the power of Khalid Murtala is really what spreads the striking apart, because Anthony Adams, out of all of his wins, I believe only has 1 knockout win in his second to last fight on Josh Kavan around 2 years ago. Other than that, he has 0 other knockout wins. And then Khalid Murtala, if you look at his 15 wins right there, let's see, 12 knockout wins, 0 submissions, and 3 decision wins. Now, a couple of those knockout wins were due to ground and pound after a double leg takedown, which also shows another advantage that Khalid Murtala is going to have, which is going to be in the wrestling game. A really good double leg takedown, a really good ground and pound. Once he gets you in the full guard, full mount, he loves to just start ground pounding you out, give your back, and then go for the rear naked, or just keep on ground pounding you out, because he doesn't have any submission wins on his record, but his ground pound is vicious. So on the ground, Khalid Murtala has the advantage. On the feet, it's very similar in terms of technique, in terms of speed, in terms of volume, but Khalid Murtala has more power. So with him having the power advantage on the feet, with him having the wrestling and grappling advantage on the ground, there's not really much options for Anthony Adams right here, other than keep the fight at range, keep on move it on the outside and outpoint Khalid Murtala in the striking game, which I just don't see happening. I think eventually Khalid is going to mix in a couple of takedowns, and my overall prediction for Khalid Murtala and Anthony Adams is going to be a decision win for Khalid Murtala. A really good fight in the middleweight division right there. Bobby Soriano III versus Aaron Hunter in the bantamweight division. Now, if you see right here, it does not show the age of either fighter, but if you look at Bobby Soriano III, it's very clear exactly what Bellator is looking to do. Once you have these younger guys like Bobby Soriano III, the Bellator really likes to push them. I mean, he's probably around 23, 22 years old. I'm not too sure. I'm not positive on the age, but if you look at his face, he looks a heck of a lot younger than Aaron Hunter, and the fact that he's an undefeated fighter as an amateur with a lot of, with some pretty good power, a lot of knockouts in there, a lot of decisions. They're gonna try to push him inside of Bellator right now, give him a couple of stepping stones to get past over and over and over again, build his record up, kind of like AJ McKee when he had like 10 fights in a row, which weren't really the best competition. That's what I see kind of happening here with Bobby Soriano III. Aaron Hunter is decent striking, decent wrestling, decent grappling. Nothing that really impresses me in the wrestling, grappling, or striking. Bobby Soriano III has really, really good speed. He has a speed advantage. He has the power advantage over Aaron Hunter. He has the wrestling advantage, really good double leg takedown against the cage. He has really good ground and pound, and he's got a really good submission skills as well. So there's really no way for Aaron Hunter to win unless he gets a finish in the first or second round. Now, he has one knockout win right there and one submission win, but I do still give the advantage in the grappling and wrestling to Bobby Soriano III, and that's exactly where Aaron Hunter is probably going to want the fight to be, in the grappling and wrestling game. But in the striking, Bobby Soriano III is going to put on the pressure, come forward, jab 1-2, leg case, body case, and just get your back to the cage. Once that happens, you're probably going to get knocked out because he starts to put on that pressure, throw some really big shots, and you're probably going to get knocked out. So my prediction right here is going to be Bobby Soriano III winning the first round in the striking game. The second round, mixing in a little bit of grappling and a little bit of wrestling, a little bit of ground and pound as well. And in the third round, finally deciding enough is enough, keeping the fight on the feet and landing a really good right hand down the pipe and knocking out Aaron Hunter in the third round. A really good fight, I believe, in the 135-pound division, the bantamweight division. But I have Bobby Soriano III winning that fight right there. Really good fight in the bantamweight division. Socrates Hernandez and Pedro Juarez in the featherweight division. Now, before I look at the record, I look at their boxing, their wrestling, their grappling, any of that type of stuff, we have to look at Socrates Hernandez height and reach. I mean, it doesn't show the reach, so I guess we're just gonna look at the height, but the height differential is absolutely insane. 5'6" tall, and then 5'11" tall. Absolutely insane. Pedro Juarez has some pretty good pressure, really good left hook counters, and a right hand down the pipe. Socrates Hernandez, pretty good at range, jab 1-2, that type of stuff, and he's gonna have the grappling and wrestling advantage over Pedro Juarez. So this is gonna be a very close fight. Pedro, I think, is a little bit more powerful than Socrates Hernandez, but Socrates being taller, lengthier, is going to be able to land more volume on the feet, just jabbing a 1-2 and kicking on the outside, just standing on the outside, using the height and using the reach. So it is very, very even in the striking game, but the way I'm able to distinct on who's going to win the fight is because of the wrestling and grappling. And Pedro Juarez, his last fight with Raul Godinez and the fight with Jordan Popey, he did get taken down quite a lot and fairly easily, and Socrates Hernandez does have very good BJJ and solid wrestling as well. So I do think Socrates Hernandez will use a little bit of wrestling, a little bit of grappling to even out the score on the judges' scorecards, because the striking game is going to be so even. So a little bit of takedowns, a little bit of wrestling will be that one thing that could get on the nod on the judges' scorecard. So I'm going to go with the underdog right here. Right now, the betting odds, I'm not too sure what those are, but the Tapology predictions are 84% going Juarez and 16% going Hernandez. If I can find it, I'm probably going to be blind right now, but Pedro Juarez, Socrates Hernandez is at plus 180, and I have him winning that fight. I think he has way better wrestling, way better grappling, and he's pretty good at range with the jab and a 1-2, so I'm going to go with the underdog at plus 180, and Socrates Hernandez winning that fight by a 29-28 decision. Really good fight in the featherweight division right there. Abraham Vasillo and Albert Gonzalez in the 175-pound catchweight division. Now, for this fight, Albert Gonzalez, I really looked back at his last fight inside of Bellator against, let's see, Castellat Zima, if I'm saying that name correctly. he got taken down fairly easily a lot in that fight. The first half of that first round, he was just laying on his back, just sitting there for the first half of that first round. His takedown defense isn't really the best. His opponent in the last fight got him in the clinch, got the body lock, trip takedown, and then started ground and pounding him for most of that first round and won the first round. So the takedown defense does worry me of Albert Gonzalez. Now, he is a very tall, lengthy fighter with a 5-inch height advantage and a 4-inch reach advantage. So he's definitely going to have the advantage on the feet, in my opinion, with the jab, the 1-2, the kicks at range, just stand on the outside, stand on the outside. His kicking game is really, really good. He's really good with the jab and the 1-2, so I can definitely see him staying on the outside and winning the fight that way. But Abraham Basiu has very, very solid wrestling. Out of all of his wins right now, 5 wins and 3 losses, every single one of them is a first round ground and pound knockout win. He has a really good double leg takedown against the cage and a really good trip takedown against the cage, which is exactly what Kathria Zima caught him in the last fight right there. So in my opinion, I'm gonna go with another underdog, because 87%. Oh, never mind, he's not an underdog. Basiu is at 87%. Yesterday, I don't know why, it was flipped yesterday with Gonzalez as the favorite, but I guess I'm gonna go with the favorite in Basiu, going out there, using the wrestling, getting the fight down, and ground and pounding the heck out of Gonzalez and winning the fight by a ground and pound TKO. If I can find the betting odds, this is a really, really close fight on the betting odds right here. Minus 135 and then plus 115. So it is a very 50-50 fight. But I am going to go Abraham Basiu. He has better wrestling and really, really good ground and pound. And the takedown defense at Albert Gonzalez was not it in the last fight. So my prediction, Abraham Basiu winning the fight by a ground and pound TKO in the first or second round. A really good fight in the 175-pound cash weight division. Neal and Alex Belezi in the light heavyweight division. The betting odds right now, if I can find them, at minus 210, minus 215-ish for Neal, and then plus 180 for Alex Belezi. I think it's a lot closer of a fight. 82% going Neal. It's a lot closer. Neal is a lot more powerful in the striking game. Has a really good overhand right and a really good uppercut as they're coming in. Good leg kicks, good body kicks at range, and he's going to be a lot big. Oh, sorry about that, Bert. He's going to be a lot bigger than Alex Belezi as well. And in my opinion, might have the wrestling advantage. It's very, very even in the wrestling game, but I think because of the strength and size of Neal, he will still have the advantage, because both Alex Belezi and Neal are both very, very good wrestlers, have really good ground and pound, really good submission skills. Either way the fight goes to the ground, I can't really see Alex Belezi getting a takedown on Neal, whereas I can see Neal getting a takedown on Alex Belezi. It's very even in the wrestling and grappling, so I think it might kind of nullify a little bit in the wrestling and grappling. Maybe we see 1 or 2 takedowns from Neal, a little bit of ground and pound, and then Alex Belezi getting right back up. That could help him on the judges' scorecards, but the main things we really need to focus on are the striking, where Neal is going to have the reach advantage, he's going to have the power advantage, he's going to have a really, really nasty leg kicks and body kicks. So I do think Neal might have a slight, very, very slight advantage on the feet as well. And either way, if the fight goes with the wrestling or grappling, or if the fight does stay on the feet, either way, I do think Neal wins. On the feet, I think eventually he's going to land a really big overhand right or an uppercut as Alex Belezi is coming in. On the ground, I see him taking him down and getting a ground and pound TKO. So either way, I got Neal by KO or TKO, either from ground and pound after a double leg or trip takedown against the cage, or we see him keep the fight on the feet, landing a big overhand right or a big uppercut in the first or second round. But my prediction right there for Neal and Alex Belezi is going to be Neal by knockout in the first or second round. A really good fight in the light heavyweight division. Georgia Karakhanyan and Saul Rogers in the lightweight division. Georgia Karakhanyan, really good guillotine on the bottom. That is the main thing I really want to focus on, because Saul Rogers early on in the first round loves to go for that double leg takedown. We saw against Maz Burnell in the last fight, went for the double leg takedown, and then Maz Burnell ended up reversing him. But if you go for a double leg takedown on a guy like Georgia Karakhanyan, he's going to get his back to the cage, and he's going to lash in that guillotine that we saw Saul Rogers actually lose to his RL Portilla right there by guillotine. And Georgia Karakhanyan, we know, has a devastating guillotine, second round guillotine right there. first on guillotine, third on guillotine, first on. I can keep on going on and on and on, but a lot of his wins are triangles or guillotines. His last win was an arm triangle choke submission win on Kiefer Crosby, but either way, the wrestling and grappling on bottom of George Karakhanyan is what I do think will keep the fight in the striking game, because it's really, really dangerous for Saul Rogers to go for any takedowns, and if he does go for the takedown and he does get it without him lashing in the rear, the guillotine or the triangle, he's literally just going to keep on fishing for different submissions over and over and over again, which is not going to allow Saul Rogers to really land any significant ground and pound, because he's trying to defend all of these submissions. So the grappling and the wrestling I see being very, very even, with Georgie using his submission threat to stay away from the ground and pound and keep it very, very even on the ground. But in the striking, Saul Rogers pretty good at range, has the height advantage, and is going to have, I believe, a 4.5-inch reach advantage right there. But Georgie Karakhanyan, we know, has amazing pressure, really, really good power in his hands as well, with 31 wins. If you look at how he won those fights, 7 knockout wins, a lot of submission wins, but he does have a lot of power when he puts your back to the cage, just starts throwing really, really big shots. So the main way I see him winning, literally 2 words: pressure and volume. That's the main 2 words that I'm thinking for George Karakhanyan. Keeping the fight on the feet with the submissions on bottom, keeping the fight on the feet, pressuring Saul Rogers to the back of the cage, and just throw in volume. So I definitely see this fight being very, very 50-50, because if Saul Rogers can get the takedown without... Sorry about that. Can get the takedown without getting submitted, he can definitely win the fight, but I do think it's too dangerous for him to go for those takedowns, so it might be a striking fight. And if it is going to be a striking fight, which I do think it will be, Georgie has more power, he has more speed in my opinion, has better pressure, better volume, and I do think will win the fight on the feet. So my prediction for Georgie Karakhanyan and Saul Rogers is going to be Georgie Karakhanyan. I believe a slight underdog on the betting odds, so a very, very slight underdog on the betting odds right there at -105. Originally, it was at +120, which I thought was a little iffy. I think it is very, very 50-50. I think the odds right now should probably be switched to -125 Georgie and then -105 for Saul Rogers, just because of the submission threat on on bottom and the advantage that he's going to have on the feet. So it's a really good fight in the lightweight division, but my prediction is Georgie Karakhanyan by a 29-28 decision. Really good fight in the lightweight division right there. Christian Edwards and Ben Paris in the light heavyweight division, both fighters being undefeated. You look at Ben Paris, only one loss right here due to a leg injury. So technically, in terms of actually skill and actually losing the fight based on your skill, this man is also an undefeated fighter. Should be 4-0, just like Christian Edwards right here. But Christian Edwards, so tall, so lengthy, and amazing striking, and only 22.5 years old. But I'm not going to put Christian Edwards in a parlay, because we already know Ben Paris has amazing submission and wrestling skills right there. Rear naked submission win, rear naked armbar and armbar submission as an amateur, guillotine, TKO win, and a decision win right there. So this fight, in my opinion, will either be a submission win for Ben Paris or a knockout win from Christian Edwards in the fight right here. Let's see if I can find some odds. Whoa, no. So -600, -500, way too much. -440. Not really too bad, but I think it's a really, really risky bet on a 4.5 to 1 favor on Ben Paris. Personally, if I were the odds makers, I'd probably put Christian Edwards maybe around -320 and -350, somewhere around the range. Probably right around where Brett Johnson, so like -350, -300. But right now, with Ben Paris at +425, I think this could be a potential underdog of the night right here. His grappling, his wrestling is also really, really good. If Ben Paris can get the fight down, he could get that submission or TKO due to ground and pound in the first or second round. But if that does not happen, Christian Edwards will, of course, win that fight right there. Ultimately, I'm going to go Christian Edwards to win the fight, but I do like those underdog odds at +225 for Ben Paris right there. Should be a really, really good fight. But ultimately, going Christian Edwards by maybe put a small $5 bet on Ben Paris winning his fight right there. Maybe there's some prop bets that come out in the next couple of days for Ben Paris winning his fight by submission. Maybe those are even crazier odds, like at +1,000. Whatever the case may be, but either way, I'm going to go Christian Edwards, and I probably will put a small underdog bet on Ben Paris right there. Should be a really, really good fight in the light heavyweight division. Alejandra Lara and Diona Bennett in the flyweight division. This fight is going to be a very, very close fight, because Diona Bennett has a lot lot of experience. 10 wins, 7 losses, and 1 draw. Beat Juliana Pena right here. Beat Jennifer Maya right there. Fought Lavina Souza, Roxanne Modafferi, Jodie Escobar, Sajora Eubanks, Karina Rodriguez, Miranda Maverick, Diana Turquato, Liz Carmouche. I mean, she's fought a lot of really good fighters in her career. She has 3 knockouts, 3 submission wins, and 7 decision wins, 4 decision losses, 2 submission losses, and 2 knockout losses right there. But if she's gonna want to win the fight with Alejandra Lara, she needs to wrestle, she needs to grapple, and she needs to grind out a decision right there. She is gonna be 36 and a half years old, a lot older than Alejandra Lara, as well as a lot less tall and a lot less lengthy as Alejandra Lara. So Lara is gonna have the reach advantage, she's gonna have the height advantage, she's gonna have the age advantage. On the feet, she's gonna have the speed advantage, the power advantage. Everything to do with the striking, Alejandra Lara will have the advantage, but she has been taken down quite a lot in her last couple of fights with Juliana Velasquez, Alimale McFarlane, Kano Watanabe, all of those fights, but she has been able to kind of get the fight back up on the feet. I mean, that is her biggest weakness, is the grappling and wrestling, but I do think for the most part, she will be able to keep the fight on the feet. Her striking is a lot better than Diona Bennett. My prediction right here is going to be Alejandra Lara by a 29-28 decision. I think she does keep the fight on the feet for 2 out of the 3 rounds. And if she does do that, she has a really good jab, really good 1-2. The leg kicks are really good. The body kicks, the spinning elbows, the spinning back fists. I mean, all the striking aspects of Alejandra Lara are much better than Diona Bennett. But I do think one of the rounds, Diona Bennett will get the fight at the ground and maybe use the wrestling and grappling, but overall, I do have Alejandra Lara winning that fight right there by a 29-28 decision. Really good fight in the women's flyweight division right there. Nyman Gracie and Mark Leminger in the co-main event of the welterweight division. Nyman Gracie with 10 wins and 2 losses. Those 2 losses are on Jason Jackson and then Rory McDonald. Rory McDonald, a former Bellator welterweight, I believe he was a middleweight champion as well. I'm not too sure, but the other guy in Jason Jackson probably is going to be next for a title shot in this welterweight division. So 2 guys that he lost to are very, very solid guys. But as we know, Nyman Gracie, I don't know why I'm thinking Renzo Gracie, but Nyman Gracie, we already know, has really, really good grappling. He's going to have the reach of it so he can keep range. As Mark Leminger is coming in to land his combinations, go down for the double leg takedown, get the fight to the clinch, body lock, kind of scoot back, get the back, and then look for that rear naked. But this fight right here, I think, is very, very simple on who I'm going to be predicting to win, because Mark Leminger in the fight with DeMarcus Jackson, his takedown defense didn't look too solid. DeMarcus Jackson got him down fairly easily. Nyman Gracie right there, I think, has pretty similar wrestling to DeMarcus Jackson. Obviously, he's going to have better grappling than DeMarcus Jackson, but the wrestling is very, very similar. And if DeMarcus Jackson can take him down so easily in the first round and control him a lot in that first round, I think Nyman Gracie can do the exact same thing. But Nyman Gracie does have that grappling advantage as well. So I either see Nyman Gracie going out there, getting the fight to the clinch, body lock, trip takedown, probably getting into half guard, looking for that arm triangle choke submission, getting into side control and latching that in, or looking for that rear and naked choke submission. Because sometimes, I mean, when your back is to the cage, he'll go down for the body lock, then he'll kind of get his right leg behind your butt cheek on your left leg, and then he'll just scoot, and he'll become behind you. I mean, it's crazy how fast and how effortlessly Nyman Gracie just gets your back when you're on the feet. I mean, I understand getting someone's back on the ground, but he literally gets the body lock and gets your back while you're not even on the ground yet. So I can definitely see him just doing that and just latching in that rear naked choke submission really early on in the first or second round. That is definitely a possibility. That is definitely a good possibility for Nyman Gracie, but I'm going to go arm triangle right here. I have a weird feeling he's going to get into half guard, then move the side control, get that arm triangle, squeeze Mark Leminger out, and tap him out probably in the second round. But, I mean, it could be a rear naked. It could be another boring decision that he usually has a lot of those boring decisions where he's kind of staying on top, little ground and pound shots, looking for submissions every now and then. But I'm going to go submission. I'm going to go second round arm triangle choke submission. I don't know what just happened there for Nyman Gracie right there, but it is a really, really good fight in the welterweight division. Mark Leminger does have better striking, more power, more speed, but I mean, in order to land those strikes on the feet, he's gonna have to come forward on Nyman, and Nyman, is going to go down for that double leg takedown, clinch you up, take it down, and do exactly what I've just been saying for the past couple of minutes. So my prediction right there for the co-main event of Nyman Gracie and Mark Leminger is going to be Nyman Gracie winning the fight by an arm triangle submission, specifically in the second round right there. Really good fight in the welterweight division. Yoel Romero and Phil Davis in the light heavyweight division. Please, Yoel Romero, make this fight a banger. I'm thinking about the fight with Israel Adesanya so much. I mean, that fight, it was so boring to watch. But if you look at just one fight before the Israel Adesanya fight with Paulo Costa, it was an absolute banger. One of the fights of the year with Paulo Costa. Absolutely insane. Back and forth striking in that fight. So I'm hoping Yoel Romero versus Phil Davis is more like Paulo Costa than it was Israel Adesanya. But I'm not too sure. But the strategy for Yoel Romero right here is going to be pressure. Throw some big shots. Look for the knockout early. Win the first round. Win the second round. Tire out in the third round. And then lose that one to a 29-28 decision. That is the strategy from Yoel Romero. Phil Davis has never been finished. I don't see him getting finished anytime soon, unless we get like a Yuri Prochazka to fight Phil Davis. That's about it. But for this fight right here, Yoel Romero and Phil Davis, Yoel, pressure, and power shots. That is what he needs to do right here. Yoel Romero against Paulo Costa. I mean, there was a lot of where his back was to the cage and he was just trying to land some big whooping punches. But against Phil Davis, he strives at range. He strives on jabbing, 1-2-1, leg kicking, body kicking, head kicking at range, just stand on the outside. That is what Phil Davis does do. He has some pretty good wrestling as well. Good takedown defense, so I don't see wrestling, grappling really being mixed into this one too much. So Phil Davis, keep the fight at range, kickbox with Yoel Romero. Of course, that is going to be the main way he wins, because if the fight closes up, Yoel Romero has a granite chin. Sorry about that. I have no idea how, as he is 44 years old, but his chin is just absolutely insane. Phil Davis's chin is also very solid, never being finished ever in his professional MMA career. But either way, I do not expect a finish from Phil Davis or Yoel Romero. I either see Phil Davis staying at range, kickboxing for that decision win, or Yoel Romero putting on the strategy where he's coming forward, putting on the pressure, looking for left hook, right hook, straight left, uppercut, overhand left, overhand right, just some really big shots when he gets Phil Davis's back to the cage, and maybe possibly mixing in a double leg takedown or two. I mean, he could definitely get one, but again, it is the light heavyweight division, not the middleweight division, so I don't know. I don't know how easily it is going to be for Yoel Romero to get that takedown, but either way, Yoel Romero, pressure, power. So the first and second round is what he needs to do good in. So the first round, to go out there, put on the pressure, maybe nearly knock out Phil Davis when his back's to the cage with a left hook, right hook, uppercut, overhand, just a really big shot. I mean, any of the hooks, uppercuts, overhands, everything like that, that is what Yoel Romero needs to do. He needs to push the pace in the first round, push the pace in the second round. Probably not going to be able to push the pace too much in that third round. That's why I am saying he's going to win the fight by a 29-28 decision. But it is a very 50-50 fight. If we look at the betting odds right now, maybe if we refresh it might be a little bit different. But for right now, let's see if I can find it. I think I'm blind. Minus 120 for Phil Davis, and then plus 100 for Yoel Romero. I'm going to go the underdog in Yoel Romero winning that fight in the first round and in the second round as well. Just put it on the pressure, getting Phil Davis's back to the cage many times in the fight, and just throwing all he really can. I mean, the last fight with Israel Adesanya, that's always going to be in the back of his mind, and Phil Davis has a similar frame, similar height, similar reach to Israel Adesanya, and has a similar strategy of just kickboxing at range for the decision. So Yoel Romero needs to know, his coaches need to tell him, the strategy that he did against Israel Adesanya is not the strategy he needs to do on Phil Davis. He needs to go out there, put the pressure on in the first and second round, not get finished in the third round. 2 rounds, 1 round, 29-28 decision. So that is my prediction for Yoel Romero and Phil Davis. I got Yoel Romero by 29-28 unanimous decision. Really good fight in the light heavyweight division right there. But yeah, guys, that is my full card prediction for Bellator 266. Davis versus Romero. 14 fights on the entire fight card. I got Yoel Romero winning that fight. Nyman Gracie winning that fight. Diona Bennett losing that fight. So Alejandra Lara winning that fight. Edwards winning that fight. Georgia Karakhanyan winning winning that fight. Great Neal winning that fight. Abraham Vasil winning that fight. Socrates Hernandez, the underdog, winning that fight. Bobby Cerronio III winning that fight. Khalid Murtala winning that fight. Shane Keefe winning that fight. Eddie Abasolo winning that fight. Jesse Delgado winning that fight. And Edwin de los Santos winning that fight right there. But yeah, I'm pretty sure I have one underdog. I think I have two underdogs on the fight card so far. So my two underdogs are going to be Socrates Hernandez right here at plus 180, and the other guy, okay, so George Karakanen as well, and then Yoel Romero. So I have three underdogs winning their fights right there. But it's been a really fun video. If you guys like the video, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on those post notifications so you guys do get notified for when I post a new video. That'd be absolutely insane. But thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video.